The Heroes Act versus the Heels Act. The two stimulus packages floating around in Congress right now. What do they mean and how are they going to benefit you? Hey everyone, Matt here, back for another video. Today is Friday, July 31st, the key day for a lot of things. So quickly, I want to get into just a real quick update on the latest negotiations of the current stimulus package in Congress right now. Well, as for the updates, there aren't really any updates other than the fact that they are still arguing, which is unfortunate. The time is ticking, which is really important. However, last night, the idea was floated that there would be a short-term extension of 7 days to the unemployment benefits so that they could spend a little bit more time talking and negotiating this out. Well, quickly, that idea was shot down, which is no surprise. But other than that, basically, there aren't a whole lot of new updates regarding the second round of stimulus checks because the whole package is being held up in Congress right now because of a few sticking points that I'll talk about here in just a minute. All right, so the two packages, Heroes Act, proposed by the Democrats, and the Heels Act, proposed by the Republicans. So I'm going to go back and forth talking about the two, and you'll probably see some differences between them. And then I'll talk about what are the sticking points and what does this mean to you? All right, so let's get right into it and let's talk about it. The Heroes Act, again, proposed by the Democrats, has a price tag of $3 trillion. The Heels Act, again, Republican proposal, has a price tag of $1 trillion. So they have a difference of $2 trillion. The Heroes Act proposes an additional second round of $1,200 direct payments to the people, otherwise known as stimulus checks, at a rate of $1,200 per adult, plus an additional $1,200 per dependent with up to 3 dependents. So a family max of up to $6,000. That's massive. That's a lot of money. Next, the Heels Act proposes another second round of $1,200 direct payments to the people, otherwise known as stimulus checks, at a rate of $1,200 per adult, plus an additional $500 per dependent. Here's the difference. There's no age restriction on the dependents, so it would include adult dependents this time. And they did not clarify number of dependents, whereas the Heroes proposal says up to 3 dependents. The Heels Act does not say any limit on dependents. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be a limit. It just means that they didn't exactly throw that in there yet. So we don't know on that yet. That's still a question mark. Next, Heroes Act. Extension of the unemployment enhanced benefits, the federal kicker, $600, extending that through January 2021. The Heels Act, proposing extending the enhanced unemployment benefits at a rate of $200 from now through September, and then changing over to a 70% wage replacement thereafter. The Heroes Act, $100 billion to schools for school funding. The Heels Act, $105 billion to schools. So the Heels Act is a little bit more there, 5 extra billion. It's kind of funny that we're talking in billions here, and 5 billion it really isn't even, $1 billion is a ton of money, but when we're talking about billions, it's almost like these big numbers that we're throwing out, talking about trillions, it's almost like billions don't even really matter anymore. These are big numbers, guys. All right, next, the Heroes Act, no liability protection for businesses and professionals. The Heels Act, liability protection for businesses and professionals. All right, so what do these two packages mean? And of course, I just want to say one more thing. There's a lot more in these packages, but of course, I like to stick to the content that a lot of you care about. Let's be honest, the most of you don't really care about all the other details, so I like to just stick to the details that are going to impact you directly. That is mostly the unenhanced unemployment benefits and the stimulus checks. So I like to focus, mostly on the content that's going to affect all of us as the people, not like the extension of the PPP and all this other business that is wrapped into these packages. So what are the main sticking points? I talked about this yesterday. The main sticking points are the enhanced unemployment benefits, whereas the Democrats are stuck. They basically said they're not willing to budge from the $600 a week, the enhanced kicker, whereas Republicans are at $200 a week, and they're basically saying we're not budging either. So both parties have openly admitted, I don't know, a few days ago that they would be willing to negotiate those numbers. But again, at the same time, they're also saying like, hey, we're not really budging at the same time. So it's 600 versus 200 on the unenhanced, I said unenhanced, sorry about that, the enhanced federal kicker, the enhanced unemployment benefits. So that's the major difference right now. There's a lot of going back and forth negotiations, more like just kind of arguing and kind of nitpicking at each other about this. So unfortunately, that's what's holding this up. Again, one other part of this package that's being held up right now is the liability protections for businesses and professionals. The Democrats do not want to support that. They don't want that at all. And whereas Republicans saying they're basically not going to pass another package unless there is liability protection for businesses and professionals. So again, another point there where both parties are basically saying we're not budging, essentially. Of course, everybody in every negotiation, everybody's willing to negotiate somewhat, but when it's a heated negotiation like this, they're both kind of standing their ground to kind of see who's going to break. But like I said just a minute ago, the time's ticking. So today is Friday. It's, I don't know, they have a few more hours within the day. I don't know, in the next 12 hours, if they don't pass something, which I'm going to be honest with you, the likelihood of them passing something in the next 12 hours is highly unlikely. However, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin has been coming out saying he's very confident they can have something pushed through and agreed upon by today. Well, unfortunately, I don't think it's happening anymore. But anyway, the time's still ticking. They have through next Friday, so basically one more week, 5 more working days, Monday through Friday of next week, to get this thing hammered out until they go on their next recess, which is a month long. So if they don't get that fixed up, I know I say this in every one of my videos, but really if they don't get this agreed upon and fixed up by the end of the week next week, they could go into their recess with no agreement, and then they won't even think about or look at this for another month into September. So I feel like they should really hammer this thing out and agree. I think at this point, again, this is just my opinion, but I feel like at this point, I feel like they're kind of waiting this thing out because everybody knows the deadline, like the 1 week from now, next Friday, is coming. So I feel like they're all kind of taking their positions as in, we're going to wait this thing out and see which party cracks. Unfortunately, that's just how negotiations happen sometimes. Both parties just kind of hold their position until the other one breaks. And in this situation, we don't know if either party will break at all. Maybe one party will, but basically, the American people are at the mercy of these two parties with this negotiation. Also, as for President Trump, he's been making a lot of statements lately, and from what I've been hearing, he sounds very, very supportive of basically anything that comes to his desk. So I said this again yesterday, but I want to say it again, but I feel like anything that comes to his desk, he's basically going to slap his signature on it. Again, that's just my opinion based on the comments he's been making and just kind of his attitude about this thing. I think he is really eager to get this thing pushed through. I think he wants an agreement. So it'll be interesting to see once Congress eventually agrees upon something and kind of pushes it through to see how quickly the president signs it. I think he's going to be right there, slapping a signature on that thing right away. Because I think he recognizes the people need this. And I completely agree. Reading the comments down below, people are struggling. It's tough. I love reading through the comments, but sometimes it makes me so sad to read these comments and see all of you, so many of you who are struggling saying, hey, I've been hurting for a couple months now. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent, my utilities. Once again, I'm already 2 months late. I'm already 3 months late. So hopefully we can get some resolution here quickly. All right, I want to quickly talk about the first round of stimulus checks because I continue getting comments about these. As of right now, there's just not any new updates. It's almost like they've just forgotten about it. Their default answer is, if you haven't received it yet, it's probably still being processed, provided you're eligible to receive it. So apparently they are really backed up, and they continue to process these payments week after week. So if you're someone who hasn't received it yet, I know it's been months, I know it's frustrating, but there's not much we can do other than just continue waiting. If I call them, they don't care what I say. I can't be like, hey guys, I have a YouTube channel and I'm sticking up for all my friends here and I need answers. Honestly, they don't really care. It's going to be the same answer whether you call or I call. It's the same thing. We're backed up. We're working fast. We're trying to process these things quickly. So I'm still looking out for you guys, doing everything I can to gather information. Unfortunately, like I just said, there's just no new information regarding the first round of stimulus checks. So I would say just continue checking your bank accounts, continue checking your mailbox just in case you receive a paper check or prepaid debit card. And if you can, try to be patient. I know it's tough, but I'm here for you. If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate. Leave a comment down below, and I love connecting with all of you. So enjoy your Friday. I'll continue watching everything. If we have any new updates on the second round of stimulus checks or any new updates on the first one, I will give you those updates right away. So enjoy your Friday, everybody. I'll catch you again probably tomorrow, but I'll be thinking of you. I truly will. I know that probably sounds like a line, but seriously, I think about all of you like all day long. I really do. I talk about you guys constantly to Corey, and I feel like this is just such a special community. I really love the connections and all of you people here. So thank you once again. Have a nice day, and I'll catch you later. See ya.